Hey guys, today's video is a little bit different. It's more of a talking video. It's not a makeup video, but I thought I would share my tattoo experience. Since it was my first tattoo ever, I thought I would kind of share my experience as well as maybe tips and pointers to people who may be getting their first tattoo as well. So before I made any plans to make an appointment or anything, I had to research my tattoo and kind of figure out what exactly I wanted. Pinterest, I know, has, arts and crafts and recipes, but they have a huge board just for tattoos. And so I use Pinterest to kind of look at different styles and, shapes and types of, differing details and things like that. So Pinterest for a while was mainly used just for tattoos. I didn't really use it for anything else. I had to decide exactly what I wanted, and I've always wanted my first tattoo to be I guess a replica of my Peepaw's tattoo. My Peepaw, he passed away, I think it was in 2003, 2004. He had a bear claw on, I can't remember which side it was, but he had a bear claw on his chest. And I remember that tattoo, and when I started thinking about getting a tattoo, that was kind of what I wanted. I wanted to get it somewhere maybe on my inside arm. But I haven't been able to find a concrete photo of it. Apparently, no one, in my family has a photo just of his tattoo. So, I will wait until I can get a actual photo of his tattoo before I get it. There were other ideas that I had, but none that, I wanted to try, different detail, different color and everything. And I didn't want something that was just black and white or an outline or something. So I actually went with getting a wolf. The problem was with the wolf, I've always wanted a big detailed wolf. Kind of like the head of the wolf, or a whole wolf or something. But I've always wanted it very, very detailed and probably on my back somewhere. But I didn't want to start with something really big and possibly too painful. So I picked kind of a smaller looking wolf that I've seen maybe even drawings of. And I kind of came up with the idea that I kind of like the watercolor effect to it. And so that's kind of the idea that I came up with. When it came to picking a tattoo parlor, I did research. I researched all in the area. There was where I lived at the time, there's always going to be the handful of tattoo places that are really crappy, and then you've got 2 or 3 that are really good. So I had to decide between the really good ones, but I ended up choosing the tattoo parlor that my husband had been to a few times, and I really liked the way his tattoos worked out. And I had met the tattoo artist before when I was sitting there with my husband while he got his tattoo done. And so I went with his tattoo artist. The guy's name is Matt Heft. He does amazing work. He's in Greensboro, North Carolina, for anyone that's interested. But I really like his style and his art and his old demeanor. He's really nice to just sit there while you're having your tattoo done, and conversation-wise, he's a really nice guy to just sit there and hang out with. But I really liked, everything about him, so I went ahead and made an appointment with him. So when it came time to making my appointment, I stood across the desk with Matt, and I basically showed him the pictures that I had saved on Pinterest, and I also had to email them to him a little later, just so he would have them for him to make the design. But I showed him all the pictures that I saved, and I told him, I want it roughly this size. I want it in this location. I want these colors. I like this, but I want to add these colors in. You need to be very specific with what you're telling your tattoo artist, everything down to the last eye, just so they can be as detailed as possible, making your tattoo the way you want it. So I told Matt everything, how I wanted it, where I wanted it, size, all that good stuff. I think my appointment was on a Saturday. Came in, it wasn't very busy. I think there was a majority of people were there getting piercings, so they were kind of in and out really quick. But my husband was able to sit with me while I was getting my tattoo done. There was a little chair in the corner. They had little booths, And so when I was in the chair getting my tattoo done, my husband was sitting across from me, and we were kind of like, all three of us were just, kind of like talking here and there. When I got in the chair, he shaved whatever hair, because it's on the inside of my arm, so there's not a lot of hair right there, but he kind of had to shave like the little finer hairs. So he did that. It was like, leave it up to me. Like he nicked me in like one little tiny spot. It started bleeding, so I started bleeding before my tattoo. But he completely trimmed off whatever hairs were there. I think he sanitized it. And before he started, the thing he told me was, you need to remember to breathe. And that kind of intimidated me. But what it was, like, I got so nervous that, like, or you get so nervous that it's like you kind of hold your breath initially as it starts. So it was really helpful for him to tell me, oh, you need to remember to breathe. Because he said he has had people kind of like pass out when he started because they just got kind of nervous. But when he started, it wasn't as bad as I hyped myself up for it to be. People have asked me what my tattoo felt like, and like, pain-wise, what, is it comparable to something like that? And like I asked my husband the same thing. I asked him, what did your tattoo feel like? Because his was on his shoulder, and he said it kind of feels like a cat is scratching you. It's like at first it's kind of painful, but then it just kind of turns into this annoying feeling. Like it doesn't hurt as much. It's just kind of like constant scratching. And he was basically right. For the first 5 minutes or so, it felt like a cat kind of like just scratching your arm. And I can also compare it to, like, if you've ever had blood taken, it kind of feels like that little pinch in the vein area when they stick the needle in. That initial pinch, it kind of feels like that the whole way for the first 5 minutes. And then after that, it was just kind of like an annoying effect. I will say, if you're really nervous about getting a tattoo, bring something with you to kind of, like distract you. In the tattoo parlor I was in, they had TVs, and they were all like hooked up to, I think they were separately controlled by each tattoo artist, maybe. I'm not sure, but they were all like on HBO or something, and they had movies going constantly, so you're sitting there, you had a movie to watch. But, if your tattoo parlor doesn't have that, or if you don't feel like watching what they have, I brought my iPod, and I was able to find local Wi-Fi from one of the little stores around the area. I was able to find Wi-Fi, and I watched some funny videos and some Let's Plays from some YouTubers and stuff. Like, I was able to find things that took my mind off it, made me laugh, and during some time watching those videos, I completely kind of, I don't want to say phased out, but I completely paid no mind to what was going on. And so bringing something like a phone or your iPod with some music or something like that really helps take your mind off the whole situation about what's going on. So yeah, I would definitely recommend bringing like an iPod or your phone or something to maybe watch videos or listen to music. I feel like the aftercare was kind of the worst part for me, because I'm not good with kind of like keeping up with stuff like that. So my husband kind of had to stay on me about, washing it and putting lotion on it and, stuff like that. So when I left the tattoo parlor, it was small enough that I got the whole thing completely done that night. So when I left the tattoo parlor, Matt wrapped it up for me in plastic wrap, and I had bandages to hold the plastic wrap. I had bandages from my wrist going all the way down here. So this whole area was just wrapped up. And that's to keep the ink from bleeding out on whatever fabric or clothes you have on your way home. When I got home, I took the plastic wrap off and washed it. Matt's kind of aftercare regime, it includes washing it with antibacterial soap and then putting kind of like a thin layer of Aquifer on. And then for the first 2 nights, you have to wrap it up in plastic wrap, kind of like he did when I first left. And that is to keep it, when you sleep, to keep the colors from bleeding out on you. And I remember waking up in the morning, taking the plastic wrap off so I could wash it, and the plastic wrap was kind of covered in just ink and plasma because it had kind of like seeped out of the tattoo while it was kind of like in the process of healing. So I had to wash it again in the morning and put Aquifer on it. And I think you do that for about, or you keep it wrapped for 2 days, and then you wash it and put Aquifer on it until it starts to peel. And then when it starts to peel, you keep doing that until it's completely done. And then after it's done peeling, you put lotion on it to keep it moisturized for, I want to say probably 2 to 3 weeks. Just completely keep like some lotion, basic unscented lotion, like in your pocketbook or your car or whatever, just whenever it feels dry, just slap some lotion on it. I think overall, my tattoo experience was a very positive one because I had someone with me that has gotten it done before, so it was really nice to kind of talk to my husband about it. I researched what I wanted beforehand, so I knew exactly what I wanted, so I wasn't backtracking or anything. I had something to occupy my time and distract myself while I got my tattoo done. People ask, like, can you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1 being least painful, 10 being most, and that's kind of hard because pain tolerance is different for everyone. But for me, I would have to say the inside of my arm getting my tattoo done, my pain was probably a 3. It probably touched 4, but at the majority it was a 3. And it was overall a very pleasant experience. I had my husband that he kind of talked to me about my tattoo and kind of talked to me about his experience. It was nice to have someone kind of sharing their experience that was so close to me. I had picked out a really good tattoo artist. I have seen a lot of his work. Research your artist beforehand because you don't want to go in there and see art that it looks like a 4th grader drew on the walls. Have something to occupy yourself while you're getting it done. Don't forget to breathe. And yeah. So guys, that was my tattoo story. Thank you so much for watching. I hoped this helped anybody out there that may be thinking about getting their first tattoo and you're kind of, scared or, nervous about the whole idea. Like I know I was terrified because I thought it was just going to be the most painful thing ever, but it's not. Like, it's just nerves, like working yourself up. Don't worry about it too much and it won't hurt as much, because as soon as he started tattooing, I was fine. It wasn't that painful at all. So yeah guys, I hope this helped somebody out there. I just wanted to share my tattoo story. If you would, give this video a like and subscribe for more videos. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye. Today's video is a little bit different. It's going to be, You're a big baby. You are. Thank you. What? Oh, I'm not rubbing.